Hi, Allie. Hey, I thought it would be easier for me to make a quick video. Hopefully, I can say everything I want to as fast as possible. But this is a complex article. It's a really interesting article. And there's a lot going on here, but to really understand what's going on, it's really helpful to look behind the scenes. Okay. First of all, what is the inquisitive mind, where it was published? If you look, let's see, where did I find that? Okay, what is in mind? If you open that up, you will find that it was found, it's what is it? It's a quarterly magazine for psychology. Where did I see this? It was founded in 2006 by Hans something as an online magazine with brief articles summarizing research from social psychology. So the whole purpose of these articles are supposed to summarize research. Okay, so just as you said, just as you noted, it sounds like these authors are simply summarizing research. That's what they're doing. However, in the way they summarize it, they're also making a subtle argument. And to look at maybe to understand why their argument is more subtle, look at who these authors are. If you pull them up, I'm not going to pull each of them up, but if you click on them and look at their bios, each of these authors are students. They are PhD students, and they are working on their dissertations, so they cannot be considered experts in the field yet. So that is why they are hedging up. They're kind of softening up their claims because they know that they don't have the credibility yet. However, let's look at what they do here. So the first thing, they comment on, let's see, the present article attempts to review these findings. So they're going to look at the research and offers possible explanations for the effects. So they're saying this is what they're going to do. The first thing they choose to do, because everything on here is rhetorical, everything that they choose to do, that they choose to focus on is rhetorical. And they may kind of suggest that they're simply going to objectively present this information, but they really don't. So if you look at this, the first thing they do is bring up a couple of case studies where social media has had a direct impact on students, on people's, mental health, on whether they are an influencer or somebody else. And so that immediately sets the stage and sets the emotion and the vibe and the voice of this article. So it immediately suggests a negativity to the connection between social media and the audience. And so then they have a section, the influence of media, and they have they do a survey on different research, okay? And they have kind of back and forth, and they do both sides. Let's see, where am I looking here? But they end up talking about focusing solely on the negatives. They do both sides, but they focus only on the negatives. They talk about body dissatisfaction. They talk about the relationship. They bring up all of these last articles that they refer to, the last research that they refer to are all negative. That is a rhetorical choice. That is making an argument, though it is subtle, and though they are writing this in third person, which is appropriate, they are still setting the stage and making an argument that the negative far outweighs the more obvious. So you can talk about their choice to be subtle. And then they go more deeply into Instagram. And again, while I read through this, and these are all focusing on the negative effects of social media on body dissatisfaction and the mental health. There was a sentence here, only one sentence, that mentioned, well, you have to take these with a grain of salt, or there's just one sentence that kind of hedged on the other side, but that was it. And so talk about how that is making a subtle argument. You can talk about how they are choosing, maybe from their lack of credibility themselves, to be more subtle in their arguments, but the way they order their information definitely is leaving an impact or an image in their audience's mind. And again, ending with this one final research survey on social grooming and its effect. And let's see, and then in summary, they go back into being a little bit more objective. And they end, all in all, despite the mixed findings and limitations of past studies, past research seems to suggest a relationship between social media and body dissatisfaction, though the exact nature and strength of the relationship remains unknown. So simply saying, and this whole seems to suggest, that is hedging it up a little bit, but still they are saying there is a connection. They're saying it seems to suggest there is a connection. So that is making an opinion. That is sharing an opinion, making an argument that there is a connection, even though it is subtle. So in your analysis, you're like, this is, their argument hidden in there, though it is subtle. It is subtle because of the genre. They're supposed to be objective here, and because of their lack of credibility as experts. They are students, but they are still, the way they order the way they organize their article, the way that they place there's far more research that talks about the negative, and the way they place it in predominant spaces where they end focusing primarily on the negative research. That is making an argument, even though it is subtle. Okay? So hopefully that helps, and hopefully you can touch on that. And yeah, this is not clear cut, and that's how some of these articles are. And it's really important to know how, okay, this is influencing me. I'm walking away from reading this article thinking that there's more negative than positive, but I'm not exactly sure why. Well, that's why, in just how they organize their information, how they organize the research that they highlight. Okay? All right, Allie, hope this helps. Bye-bye.